What's good, fam? It's Pimo, aka Jadea, aka Urban Politics, and I'm checking in on you guys for one good time. So I'm gonna make a real quick video, a real special video. I think it's actually long overdue, and I think it's something that if you're a person with common sense, you've been understood this. But for those people who really need to hear it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and it's as simple as this. So back in the day, black men was calling black women the bees, right? Like the B word, right? And black women didn't appreciate that too much. It was kind of like a common complaint you hear from black women. Like they would always bring it up and say, "Oh well, black men refer to us as this." And the truth of the matter is, I have never in my life seen a black man refer to his woman as like his that. Okay, I've seen situations where black men have referred to their girls or whatever as that, but the women were never black. I tend to see more women calling each other that, but that's besides the point. But the thing about calling a woman a bitch, which is a female dog, is that it's still a female. It's a dog. It's just a female, right? Christ called the Phoenician woman a dog. He referred to her as a dog. Like he compared her to a dog. So he kind of called her, yeah. But in our day, in this day, 2021, we have a situation where there's a lot of black women who refer to black men as dust, dusty, dust mites, all types of things that refer to dust. And the thing about that is that actually had to process this and think about it. That it's actually worse. Like it's worse to compare someone to dust than to compare them to a female dog because at least one is an actual like creature with like a soul, like a conscience, like it has feelings that we actually, most people generally care about. To call someone dust is like they're not even human. They're not even a mammal. They're not even a creation. They're just dust. They're useless. They're worthless. They don't serve any purpose other than to just get on our nerves. We just need to, get our little sweepers and get rid of them, right? The dust. And I want to talk to you guys in relationship to that in terms of why a lot of black men are really just basically not going to be checking for y'all moving forward. Now, understand this. I'm not speaking in reference to myself, right? I'm not talking about me, right? Because I'm different, I think, than the majority of like black men, I think, from the standpoint of like my whole life and like my different things about me, I think are different. I made a video years ago talking about the unappreciated, hardworking black man, which I felt is the most unappreciated person in the black community, is the decent, hardworking black man. See, the thing that a lot of the women who are calling black men dust fail to realize is that a lot of black men, unfortunately, we do come up, in broken homes, poverty. We come from brokenness, right? And it's not just black men. Like you come, like there's when you talk about African American peoples, you don't have to go usually too far back in their genealogy to find some trauma, some brokenness. It's like extremely common. And so, unfortunately, a lot of young black males are growing up either A, without a father, or B, in very bad poverty type situations, And just to be quite frank with you, a lot of black folks are cursed, okay? And so the children are growing up in an environment where their parents, a lot of times their single mom, have been cursed, or their whole situation have been cursed, and this child is having to grow up in it. So this child struggles his whole young adult life, completely out of his control, not his fault, right? But poor, struggling, trying to keep up with the Jones. And a lot of the parents, they work two, three jobs to make it seem like their financial situation is something that it is completely not. Okay. It's just that for me personally, when I grew up, my mom didn't do that. My mom couldn't work like that because she was sick. So for me, I grew up like very much so like with very low income, very like little, like very little, but this is what happens. Basically, these young men, if they don't get scholarships to play sports, different things like that, they become young adults and they're on the street trying to fend for themselves, right? And a lot of times that leads to problems, right? It leads to, bad influences, drugs, streets, all of that, right? Long story short, these young men grow up in a situation where they're struggling, okay? They are struggling, okay? And I'll be the first to raise my hand. If someone say, well, was you ever a dusty? If raise your hand if you was ever a dusty, if you was ever dust, according to the definition that a lot of these black women have for black men, I'll raise my hand and tell you straight out facts. But it's not something that I'm ashamed of because the reality is going through those hard times. I already knew my confidence. I already knew who I was. I was not. See, and this is the thing where like women have this total misconception and utter disrespect and disregard for black men to the point of calling them dust. See, I knew my value had nothing to do with what I could provide materialistically. This is the reason why I could go out, you know, not dressed the nicest, even to this day, I could go out not dressed the nicest and not really care because I'm confident in who I am as a person, right? But a lot of it's the whole humanization aspect. If you don't humanize yourself and you say that this person's value is based only on his ability to provide or do something for me, which happens a lot of times, unfortunately, within the black community, especially with black males. The value of a black man a lot of times boils down to one of two or possibly three things, okay, in the context of how a lot of women tend to look at black men. And I think in order of importance, A, do he got the swag? Okay, that's honestly the style and swag is like up there, super, super important. Regardless of if he got money or whatever else it is, do he got swag? Is he somebody that I makes me laugh? And do he got the juice, the drip, whatever it might be? That's at the top of the list. B, do we got money? Okay, do we got his own X, Y, and Z, right? Or C, excuse me for saying this, but can he knock it smooth out the frame, right? Is that aspect of him as a man just something that you need, right? Because unfortunately, a lot of black people who go through trauma choose to deal with it through sex, okay? And so men like this have a lot of value, like, and then there's the whole stigma about black men. And so we already know what time it is when it comes to all of that. And you see that evident in the black community like a lot. Okay, so we're just putting it out there 100% real. So because the humanization, like none of those three things have anything to do with who this man actually is. Like none of those things have anything to do with his actual character. What are his principles? What do he believe in? What are his goals? Like none of that have anything to do with being an actual man. Okay, so because this is the plight, the situation that a lot of black men find themselves in, like it just gets to a point where it's like, yo, like this is crazy. This is chaotic. And here's the main thing. Here's the main thing. So, do y'all think that a black man who is, unfortunately, a lot of black men who grow up in these bad situations, like myself, and was dust, okay, was a dusty, right? Do you think that these same men that y'all have been openly disrespecting, not even humanizing, are supposed to graduate from whatever and move into, you know, the upper class, move into a different tax bracket. Let's just put it like that. And life changes, things change, pink slips, ownerships, deeds, titles, land, businesses, all of that, right? Everything comes into play, power, everything like that comes into play. And do y'all really think that these same men who you was dissing just 10 minutes ago is supposed to now turn to you and not only deal with you romantically, but deal with you romantically to the point of marriage? Because y'all do understand those are two completely different things, right? Like back in the day, white men was raping black women, not because they were interested in marrying them, but because they wanted to bust a nut. Like excuse my language, I'm just saying, like they wanted to have sex. So it's a whole different realm. So what I'm saying is, this is the key, and y'all can answer that question that I just asked for yourself. But here's the key: no man, no man who is of any type of value wants to deal with a woman who is disrespectful. Period. And I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of, like myself personally, as a black man, I don't deal very well with disrespectful people. It's one of my peeves. I can't stand disrespectful people. I can't stand rude people. And you can tell pretty much when a woman has respect for you or does not have respect for you if she overtalks you. A woman who is overtalking a man, there's all kinds of signs, but that's one of the telltale signs. A woman who's overtalking a man is like pretty much argumentative. You can tell she wants to argue. She wants to win. And I think a lot of women kind of like fall into that category. I'm talking about especially a lot of, not all, but a lot of like black women in terms of how they deal with black men. It's always like, I'm right, you're wrong. And I'm going to prove to you that I'm right at all costs. I don't care about respecting you. You don't give me anything to respect according to what I think a man is supposed to be for me to respect him. So you're dust, you're this and that. So it's just this constant chaos, this constant drama. And at the end of that, it's like, yo, are you seriously think that these same men are supposed to marry you now? Okay. And then later when you see them with Tatiana, with Becky, with whoever, okay, Ching Ling or whoever she might be, whatever, right? Whoever she is, Jasmine from Aladdin, it could be anybody, whoever she might be, it's gonna add fuel to the fire of hatred for black men. When the reality is, years ago, you already pledged allegiance to hating black men, right? You already dehumanized them. and you already showed them that you don't give a damn about them. So how could you then turn and be mad when that man gets his life together and gets married to another woman of a different race when the whole time you weren't interested in what the hell this guy had going on or what he was doing? Your estimation of him was based on what he had materialistically, or his swag, or how his juice, his drip. If he was a gangster or this or that. You know what I'm saying? These are the types of things that you see. A lot of times in the black community. So it just doesn't make sense what a lot of these women are doing. You got these overweight, ugly, super average women out here talking about black men is dusty and this and that. Like, girl, like, have you looked in the mirror? Like, yo, like, what I'm saying, money don't make you. Money don't make you who you are. And a lot of y'all who acting like you are some don't even have no money. You ain't got $20,000 in the bank right now. You don't have $40,000 in the bank right now. But you talking about another man is dusty. You talking about a man. You talking about somebody is dust. You're dehumanizing a person who look a particular way, and you ain't even got half 100,000 in the bank. You ain't got it nowhere. It ain't in no brokerage account. It ain't nowhere. It ain't in no property. It's nowhere. You don't. So what are you talking about? And it's just so crazy the way people think. And it's just this mentality, this privileged mentality of what can you do for me? And if you can't do for me, then you are nothing to me. And I really think this is a female problem. Like, this is a problem, not just a female problem, not just a black female problem. This is something that you see quite common in the Western world, right? This disrespect for men, this disregard for men. And it's not just, it's crazy because it's not just like the women's fault. It's the culture. It's the entire culture in terms of how men are treated in the West. And certain things are celebrated. And I don't want to talk about, because I don't want to, like, have this video get flagged, but certain things are celebrated and other things are treated like they're next to nothing, even though these are the very things that have sustained civilization to get us to the point where we can enjoy some of the luxuries and comforts that we have now today. Meaning manliness, men doing what men do, and men gonna always do what men do. Strong men gonna always do what strong men do, which is protect, provide, love, etc., and make sure that the people that they care about are straight. Right? That's what men do, and they're gonna keep doing that. Okay. And listen, last thing I'm gonna say about this video before I get out of here is this: in no way am I saying that a black woman should deal with, some build-a-bear guy with no ambition and whatever else it might be. I'm not suggesting that at all. But I do think that black women should not dismiss a man, particularly a black man, on the basis of what he has in this particular moment or at this time. What's more important is, where's his ambition, where's his drive, right? And then who is he as a man? Right? Those are questions you have to really ask yourself, because a man, maybe, here's the thing. It's not uncommon, let's say, for example, in Jewish culture, for the woman to be the breadwinner in the house. It's not uncommon. Now, I'm not saying this because I think that black women should be the breadwinners, but there will be situations where they are, even though, as it stands right now, black men on average still earn more than black women. But there will be situations and circumstances where you as a black woman will be the breadwinner in the household. That doesn't give you the green light to be disrespectful to black men or disrespectful to your man. Unless, of course, you want to wear the pants and you want a beta male. And that's a whole different can of worms, a whole different situation, but the truth of the matter is, men want sons. You understand me? Strong ones. And, if the woman in your household pumping the testosterone in there, she the one with the testosterone, boy, you liable to have you some, yeah. Most men can't do that. Most men don't want to do that. And most men would never sign up for that. And you want to be that, you're going to find yourself getting cheated on, 8 out of 10 times in a relationship, because you are emasculating that man. And that man, if he is a man, he can only be a man. You understand me? So he got to be a man. And if it ain't being a man to you, he going to be a man to somebody else. And now, again, I'm not co-signing cheating. I'm just telling y'all, like, yo, this alpha energy that some of these women have is, it can get toxic. You got to be careful with it. You got to know how to turn that switch off. You might be this amazing person in corporate America. You might be this business owner. You might be this whatever type alpha, whatever in the corporate world. But when you get home, it's time to go ahead and, hey, I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Bring that thing on down. You need to find you a man that, and I already know what time it is, but most of these women really want a man to take charge. But, it's hard for women like that to find men who are willing to take charge of them because y'all are difficult. And we just, like, y'all got your own program. So you got a man can take charge of you, but but it's like, it has to happen in certain windows and at certain specific times. You know what I mean? So when a person do get you, he got to really make it count. You know understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's a special type of man to really even understand that. But there's so many black women who kind of fall into that category, and I think not enough black men who kind of understand how to maneuver through that. And so there is work, of course, to do with the men on that side, if that's what they want, right? So again, I just want to make this video describing, the reality in terms of like, hey, you know what? It's gonna be a lot of men that ain't gonna be checking for y'all, and I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just keeping it real because the reputation of a lot of black women, the same way y'all would feel some kind of way if you heard a lot of black men calling black women, the B word. The whole of black men collectively, we're going to feel some way about y'all referring to black men, dehumanizing black men the way that y'all are. And it's not like, oh, it hurts our feelings and we this, that. No, we're men. We're going to look at it logically and we're going to make decisions based on it. We're going to get to a point in place where we feel we can't trust you, a lot of y'all, emotionally. So what that means is we won't ask you to marry us. It's really that simple. Why would a man marry someone who he know is going to be disrespectful to him, who he know is going to belittle him, who he know is going to dehumanize him, who he know like, damn, she just using me for this, that, and the third? What kind of a fool would do that? No, you're looking for a sucker. You borderline looking for a wife. And hey, that's a whole nother conversation, but it's been 16 minutes of video. I'm about to check out. I think I said what I had to say on this particular topic of discussion. I would love to hear y'all comments on this one. Yeah, so tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Till we chat again, it's Pimo, aka Jadair, aka Urban Politics, and I'm checking out on y'all. Go.